before we get negative, I do want to start on a positive note. Over the last 3 games, the Bears have lost to the Packers, lost to the Vikings, and lost to the Lions. All great teams by 1 possession. Caleb Williams is kind of starting to find his footing ever since the Shane Waldron firing has happened. Over those last 3, he has had 827 passing yards, 5 touchdowns, and 0 picks. He's been a playmaker on his feet. He's been creating after, like, he's been able to get out of the pocket and create and make plays. Caleb Williams is definitely taking a step forward. And for all of like the haters on him, like for the first half of the season, it's been a little bit more quiet now because he's finally starting to come into his own as a player. Do you agree with that?
100%. 100%. He's looked so much better these last few games. Shane Waldron was what was holding him back on an offensive perspective. I think he's looked so much better. I think he's looked like the first overall pick that a lot of people thought he would look like in these last few games. Obviously, there's still rookie things that you need to work on, but I think it's been absolutely promising if you're a Bears fan from a Caleb Williams perspective these last 3 games since they made the change.
100%. And I really do want to go over this last 2 minutes. I mean, you could obviously watch this entire layout of this game, of their last drive, because it was like absolutely ridiculous. But I think probably the final 2 minutes is a pretty good like starting point to watch this play out. So the first thing I'm going to show here, we're at the 2-minute mark. It's 1st and 10 on the 50. And we can obviously watch what plays out here. I'm gonna skip ahead.
To go. Bears down a field goal. 1st and 10 at the 50. Kramer.
It's just a great stat to show at the bottom of the screen. 5 and 18 in games decided by 1 possession.
Worst in the NFL. Double reverse play action snap.
That's one situation. I don't necessarily know if he had the opportunity here, but there has been situations where it felt like Caleb could get rid of the ball on and not necessarily take a sack.
I mean, what do you want?
Obviously,
I agree.
obviously easier said than done, but not. I don't think he had the time here, but it reminded me of that.
He's been sacked 3 times at this point, countless pressures. Every single time the camera cuts to him, he's on his back. Why run? It's not like a double play action, but reverse motion, turn your back around, play action, no time, guys standing around.
Defense can change in that second that he's worrying about making sure he's faking the handoff to DJ Moore.
Now, obviously,
especially on your 2-minute drill too.
Yeah. Now, obviously, it's 2nd and 17. They have 2 timeouts.
You're going to see a play fake right back there.
The clock's running. They snap the ball with 1:27 left.
Williams.
Pass it. Nothing. He obviously creates. Puts his shoulder down. Love this. Puts his shoulder down. Puts it right into Brian Branch's chest. Gets the extra yards there. Takes off for 13 yards. And then the Lions have an injury timeout right here. So I'll just skip ahead.
That version of Caleb Williams where he avoids pressure, uses his athleticism, and picks up a big chunk of yards running
and
is
plays
something
physical.
that I wanted to see more of that throughout the beginning of this season, and I harped on that pretty consistently. He's a really good athlete. Like it's not like he's a statue back there.
Now it's 3rd and 4. 1:08 left.
That ability over and over again. That's we're going to need to utilize.
I'll skip ahead here.
There's going to be nothing. Tell you, we're not.
It's 3rd and 4.
3rd and 4.
Center back in. Shelton has returned for this shotgun snap. Back to Williams.
Has
just a
had
break
time
up.
There. Had plenty of time. Good play by the defense.
Yeah, hits off of his helmet there. Okay, so now it's 4th and 4.
Like we said, pressure. 2 linebackers.
1:04 left.
The ends dropped out. They're coming after him here.
Would have been a 62-yard field.
Have DJ Moore on a crosser here. Gets up.
They picked up the pressure well there.
Down to the 22-yard line.
Right here, obviously, Cole Kmet's gets the OPI. This is earlier in the drive. He gets another one. This is his 2nd on the same drive. I mean, honestly, in my opinion,
Killer.
that's absolutely inexcusable to have 2 on the same drive. So instead of the ball being what it looks like it would have been like on the 25 right there, it's now 4th and 14 with 56 seconds left, and we'll obviously watch what plays out here.
That flag.
You want to get picked them.
It's crazy. 2 offensive PIs on this most important drive of the game.
4th and 14, 56 seconds left.
Williams has to backpedal, running for his life, and heaves it down the field. And a flag comes out.
Obviously, you get the DPI at this point. 1st and 10 from the 25, and there will be 46 seconds left.
Pass interference, but was it pass interference?
One timeout.
This discussion right now is whether it was or not.
Pass interference. 29 defense. Oh, boy.
They have 2 timeouts at this point.
Or is he restricting?
They get up to the line. They take too long. Oh, no. What happens here?
Williams.
Oh, yeah.
Caleb
Williams.
Bad throw. That should have been a
touchdown.
10-yard plus gain. Yeah.
But this is what I'm thinking at this point. Caleb Williams has been sacked 49 times this season. He's been sacked 4 times today, countless pressures, all of this. He obviously has the ball. He has the play. He just doesn't trust his own line at this point.
Yeah, he stood in there as well as he could.
Camera shoots to him, big shocker. He's on his back. So it's just another one of those situations where he 100% should have made that throw. I think he's deserving of the criticism for not completing that pass. But also at the same time, you could see a little bit of like where the psyche of the quarterback is. I mean, like, look, he's got his tights are ripped. He's bleeding. He's been hit a million times this game. He's been hit a million times all season. It's ridiculous.
He just made that throw earlier in the drive with a clean pocket that ended up being called back. Crossing her out to DJ Moore, but it was down to the bottom of the right side of the field. Same exact throw, except on that one, even though it was called back, he had time. His O-line gave him time, was able to set his feet, make a throw through DJ Moore. Didn't really have that opportunity there.
He missed him.
100%. Now it's 2nd and 10, 43 seconds left. This is where the play clock burns out, and they have to burn their first timeout, which is probably a bad timeout to have to burn at this point. You probably would want to get this play off here.
There, and I know he had a little internal pressure, but still a lot of game left.
2nd and 10. The timeout call as that play clock was running.
Yeah, that's really frustrating to watch because you have the 2 timeouts left. You're about to call the play, and if you're gonna call a timeout in this situation, call it right away, rather than being too slow to get back onto the football, get the play call in, etc., and being forced to call it. Call it if you want to call it. Don't call it because you're forced to. Is my biggest pet peeve about this play.
100%. Now it's 2nd and 10, 43 seconds left, 1 timeout left. They send Keenan Allen in motion right here at the top of the screen. He runs a great route.
These games, they haven't been able to do it recently, but an opportunity here.
2nd and 10.
Great separation, gets him the ball. Great catch.
First down, out of bounds.
What? That's first down, out of bounds. Don't have to burn a timeout. They're what, on the 12-yard line at this point? And then what do you know what happens next?
And another flag is down.
Another flag, illegal hands to the face by their offensive lineman. I mean, that's inexcusable in a position like this in the game. It's completely unnecessary. They made the play. They're in a position to win. Extremely frustrating. So now instead of it being, it'd be 1st and 10 on the 12. It's now 2nd and 20 on the 35-yard line. Just not the best place to be. And then obviously there's 36 seconds left, and let's just watch this play out right here. And there's one thing that I want to harp on.
2nd and 20.
What is this guy doing? Like, all jokes aside,
I remember watching this play and being like, wait a minute.
He doesn't even look at the guy on the outside. I don't know whose fault that is. I'm assuming that it's 100% on him. I don't know what the protection was, but How do you leave the edge rusher wide open? He has no time. The guy on the right's coming. The guy on the left's coming. They're getting upfield in the middle,
No one touched
and then he
it.
takes a sack. Bad sack to take, but people are so are harping on the fact that this is a bad sack to take in this situation. What do you want him to do? What do you want him to do in this situation? This would be intentional
There was
grounding.
nothing he could have done.
He had 0 time, and if he got rid of it, it would have been intentional grounding. So obviously, we'll watch this play out. At this point, the clock starts winding down.
They have a light box.
Takes a little too long to get the play call in.
Clock is running.
Clock's running. Not in field goal range.
They have one timeout left.
This is like the light box.
10 seconds left.
Numbers, but just didn't
better hurry.
Doesn't snap the ball until there's 6 seconds left on the clock. I mean, absolute killer.
This is disaster in the making here.
3, 2, throws a deep ball on top of it. Doesn't happen.
Complete and
Game over. There's a few ways to look at this, and I understand that a lot of people who are Caleb Williams haters found this to be an opportunity to kind of shit on him a little bit, where it's like you have to, any quarterback in that situation like has to call a timeout. Have we ever, rookie quarterbacks make mistakes all the time. Let's just call it what it is. In a game versus the 10-1 Lions on the road, game on the line, you would hope that like the support system, which is the coaching staff at this point, if you aren't making the correct read on the field, as is a timeout in that position where you're taking a little too much time, that is not just on Caleb Williams. That's on everyone. For the guys in the booth, the guys on the sideline, the head coach, whoever, for nobody to be like, we have to call a timeout right here. We have to call a timeout right here. And everybody to just sit there and allow the clock to just dwindle. That is on everybody. That's not just on Caleb Williams. And I think it more comes down to Eberflus. Like I said, look at the last 3 games that they played where it has come down to the last possession of the game. Against the Green Bay Packers, they had an opportunity to kick the game-winning field goal. The kicker came out after the game and said that he prefers the ball to be on the right side of the hash. Instead of running a play to get the ball on the right side of the hash, he just called a timeout and let him kick it from the left. They lost in overtime, and then this debacle that we just watched unfold, that is 150% just on coaching. We watched it play out over the last 3 weeks, and then ultimately he got fired. So, one, do you have anything that you want to add on that last 2 minutes? We could have went over the whole drive. That whole drive was crazy. But do you have anything that you want to add on that? And then 2, like, whose fault do you think that really should like lie on in a situation like that with the game on the line?
First thing that I wanted to talk about for that entire drive is just, I think this entire drive just goes fully back onto just coaching and how bad it's been for the Bears this entire season. For you to go down there, and good on Caleb Williams, he did what he could in that drive, but to consistently shoot yourself in the foot from a penalty perspective, not being able to block down the stretch, taking 2 or 3 like critical sacks in your 2-minute drill, just really bad. One of the 2 definitely not on Caleb Williams. That
one at the end is crazy.
Came free. Nobody even looked at him. That one is not on Caleb. There's not anything that he could have done in that situation. And then I feel like as a head coach, even as somebody that's not even like, obviously we're just stupid bystander fans. How do you not have a number in your head where, okay, if we get down to this point, if we get down to like 12 seconds and Caleb hasn't called a timeout, we have to call a timeout.
100%.
Right? Like there has to be a threshold as a head coach where if your rookie quarterback doesn't call a timeout at this number, you have to step in, call a timeout, and give your guys a shot. 12 seconds is probably where it probably on 3rd and 26, 12 seconds left probably gives you a good opportunity to run another play to at least get into field goal position and then get out of bounds if executed. If not, 3rd and 26, you're just outside of field goal range for your kicker. At least you give him an opportunity to put one up there rather than it go down to the very last play and your rookie quarterback has to throw a ball that doesn't even make it to the end zone. So I think some of it's on Caleb. I think he's played enough football. I think he's smart enough to say, all right, I should have called a timeout there, but I think majority of this falls back on the coaching.
Somebody gave me an awful comparison. Somebody said, does Pat Mahomes call a timeout in that situation? It's like, yeah, Pat Mahomes
has won 4 Super Bowls.
He's won 3 Super Bowls and has like 20 playoff wins, and he's been in the league for 7 years. Yeah, of course he calls a timeout in that situation. That's why I think it's an important point to make where yes, Caleb is a pro, but from playing in the NFL, he is a rookie. And we watched him make a rookie mistake in that situation, but for nobody on the coaching staff to step up and try to make something happen, I think it just speaks measures. We said it, 3 weeks ago when they got stomped by 4 weeks ago when they got stomped by the Patriots. It was he's lost the locker room. It's probably time to move on for Eberflus. They lose 3 heartbreakers and then have that absolute debacle at the end. It was time to move on from him. And one last thing, and then we can move on to the last topic for the day. The Bears, Chicago Bears, I am legitimately begging you and praying, do not hire Cliff Kingsbury as your head coach. I don't know why he's emerged as your number 1 contender. We watched him flame out everywhere he's gone. We're watching him flame out in live time this season. You had the opportunity to bring him in as an offensive coordinator this offseason, and he didn't do it for you to hire him as an OC. Why now? What has changed now for you to be you know what? This guy is now our head coach. If he wasn't able to land the interview for the OC job, why would you bring him in as a serious contender for a head coaching position? There's a lot of great head coaches out there who I think have an opportunity to come in and take that spot. I don't know if you want to lean offense or defense, whatever you want to do. But regardless, I don't think Cliff Kingsbury should be the top of the list guy for the Chicago Bears right now. I think it's asinine to think that.
I'm in the camp of you should probably get an offensive-minded head coach when you've had a rookie quarterback already go through 2 head coaches in his rookie year. So I think from a development standpoint, I think having an offensive-minded head coach is probably going to be the best way for you to get the absolute most out of Caleb Williams. But that's just my personal preference. I think they'd be absolutely foolish if they hired Cliff Kingsbury. Now, did the Commanders look good this weekend? Yeah, sure. But besides this one week, we've seen exactly the Cliff Kingsbury story. Start off hot, simmer down throughout the rest of the year, end up playing 500 football. It would be stupid. There's plenty of good guys out there, like you said. I'm sure this offseason we'll be able to do a little bit deeper of a dive, but I think I would tend to lean offensive-minded head coach when you have a rookie quarterback that just could be extremely special in the NFL for a long time.
Very fair.
White clouds blowing out when we max 4-5, not the size, but it kick up. Highlight of my life, man.